Hello. It's nice to see everyone back, isn't it? We're back alive and real estate's on fire. My name's Frankie Morales. I am the co-founder and publisher of a .com called CaliforniaListings.com, based in California. Thank you. We're a top agent network where we pair one expert per neighborhood in Southern California, and we are launching in Northern California soon. So watch out for that. We're also daily news, data, reports, everything. If you love real estate in general, California is obviously a market leader, so check us out. But enough about me. It's not about me. We're here to talk about luxury secrets revealed. I think there's a lot of us, luxury. What does luxury mean, right? Where are we going in this current marketplace? Let's talk about bidding wars. Let's talk about way over asking prices. Let's talk about what people are looking for today, buyers. Let's talk about what sellers want their listing at. There's so much to talk about luxury real estate. It's really insane, and I'm here for it, and I think you're here for it all too, right? So without further ado, let me introduce my awesome panelists today. To my left here, we have Tiffany Pecoraro from Align Real Estate, and she's from Orlando, Florida. Tiffany, tell me, what's your favorite type of architecture, and what made you move to Side?
So favorite type of architecture would be modern style architecture. I actually was born and raised in Miami, Florida, although I live in Orlando now, so definitely have a lot of that style still. And regarding moving to Side, for me, I'm very big on building a very recognizable brand. I know that my clients hire me because of me, not because of the company name, right? So I knew that I really wanted to take more control of that, and by being able to come to Side as a partner here, that I'm able to have full control now and kind of get all the benefit for all the hard work that I do.
I'm sure we're going to go through many reasons why you all moved to Side and many reasons why you moved to Side, and people who are watching this, why they should be looking to move to Side, right? Carrying along, we have Molly Hoban-Williams of the Hogan Company from Manhattan Beach, California. Tell us, Molly, what type of architecture do you love, and what made you move to Side?
I love coastal Cape Cod. I'm a beach girl, and that is the predominant new construction that's being built in Manhattan Beach right now is coastal Cape Cod, where the homes are really beachy. And so that is definitely my favorite style. I moved to Side. I made the decision. I could see the writing on the wall how our market was changing. And I had run my own company for the last 10 years. If things were going fine, it was doing just great in downtown Manhattan Beach. But I did notice that things were changing, and we couldn't keep up with, and didn't have the technology, didn't have the extra support. We was running ragged, and I just was looking for an alternative to have better technology, more support, have collaboration, and we joined Bayside, and it has been a game changer. It has been awesome. We've had it's way more fun. It's way more fun when you're working with fun people, and it's just been really been a great move.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. And then we have Kofi Norte over here from Los Angeles, California, and you have a company called Global Red, and you just rebranded from the Society Group to Global Red, and we'll get into that in our conversation today. But tell us, what's your favorite type of architecture, and what made you move to Side?
All right, first I just needed to have my heart calm down. I'm so excited to be up here. Hey, woo! Let's go. I made the mistake of watching Kobe Bryant highlights to prep for this panel, and I walked in here with an underbite, and I was just like, oh, let's go. But I'm just excited to be up here, and I'm excited. I just want to get this out. Excited to be here with all of you guys and even be part of Side, because it's being with people who are like-minded at a level that's like-minded that makes it so amazing. I've been taking notes on all the panels. I'll be taking notes from you guys as well. But just excited and grateful to even contribute to the community. Let's see, architecture. There's a style that I heard about recently that really rang true with me called modern Terranean. So it's a little bit of a Mediterranean style, which I don't actually love. I don't love true, pure modern. It's a little too cold. But there's something timeless about blending the two. And in LA, we get a lot of combined architectural styles. The second question, why did I join Side? I'm going to try to talk fast because I like to share. I think, there's a couple of reasons. There's always a push and pull for every decision that we make, right? So there was a push from the pain points of not being able to realize my full potential on the other companies I was with. I was a big part of corporate machines. You know, I'm a team player. I played football at Cal, across the bay. So I've always been a team player. I've always contributed to wherever I was a part of, helping them recruit, helping them build. But when the machine grows so big that it loses its heart and it doesn't feel or think about you or even give back to you as the individual component that really helped build that, you start to feel that. Secondly, there's a pull. There's a pull to your potential. For me, it was from my potential. It's kind of what drives me on a daily basis. I'm chasing my potential. I want to help everybody around me reach their potential as well. And this was a pathway to do that, to build a brand. As Tiffany was saying, you know, we are the brand. We extract the brand from ourselves. We pour it into something that's scalable. We recruit people that buy into that same vision, marry it with their own, and boom, we're off to the races. I sat down with Guy, sat down with Brian Smith, and I said, I like these guys. I like this company. There's a real heart here that actually feels genuine. And I made the move, and it's been an amazing ride so far.
That's awesome. I think you all encapsulate that because you run your own businesses. You are the hearts of your teams. So moving along, this is Luxury Secrets Revealed, right? So you want to know about luxury and how to break in and how you're doing it so well in your different marketplaces. And they're a little different in each one. And Orlando is very different than the beach towns. It's very different than greater Los Angeles. And Kofi does work outside of Los Angeles. That's why it's global red, right? So let's talk about the definition of luxury today. As we know, the market is shifting every single day, really, right now, weeks. Next month could be completely different. There are different price points lasting longer on the market. There are some that are flying off the shelves. We heard earlier 8 days in California on the market and they're gone. So once you're looking at it, it's gone. So let's talk about the definition of luxury real estate and what it is today. Would like to hear some numbers in terms of values, and then what you're seeing and where do you see it's going to go, luxury real estate? Because the wealthy aren't untouched. There's different values that are moving and moving slower or moving faster. So let's just talk about the definition of luxury in your marketplace and where you see it going. We'll start with Tiffany.
Fantastic.
We'll go down the row.
So, you know, I like this topic and to share that luxury is different in every market. And yet, you know, you don't have to be in Miami, LA, New York to feel that you can represent the luxury market in your area. For us in Central Florida, I mean, $1 million property is luxury for us. You know, we have very few sprinkled homes that are 15 million plus, you know, so it's not like it's every corner you turn. I mean, for us, homes have appreciated 12% just this year, and the average home price is $320,000, you know, versus in California, they were mentioning today, it was $800,000. So it's very different, but still, you know, that is $1 million is luxury to a certain, you know, demographic and buyer, and we're able to cater to that in our market. So in Orlando, there's in Central Florida, I'll call it, you know, different pockets very small pockets of luxury, because in Florida, particularly, you find most of your more higher end luxury on the coasts. So of course you have Miami, you have Naples, but we have a team that works out of Tampa, St. Pete, and Sarasota, as well as on the East Coast, New Smyrna. So it's very different than I'm sure these other markets, but still luxury, and we still are able to, you know, give that experience of that luxury buyers looking for in that $1 million price point as well.
So where do you see it going from in your marketplace with luxury? We're at the $1 million mark as identified as luxury in your market. Mm-hmm. Where do you see it going?
Well, it's already definitely, it has grown this year, the demand for luxury product in our market where it just wasn't there before. I mean, you'd have a gorgeous luxury home that'd sit on the market for 8 to 12 months, you know, and we knew it would sell eventually, but it just wouldn't fly off the market. Now, I mean, if there's anything that's move-in ready, whether it's fully renovated or new construction, there's definitely a lot of competition for it. And these are mostly mostly you're seeing those homes in like the $1 to $4 million range. Again, you know, those are the ones that are actually moving. So I think that because Florida's such an in-demand market and people are coming from all over the country to move to our state, their appreciation will continue and demand will continue. And I think that we will be able to grow our luxury market bigger than it's ever been historically in the Central Florida area.
Sounds good for you, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, Molly, let's talk about Manhattan Beach and the coastal communities of California, because Manhattan Beach is different than other beaches, different than Santa Monica. There's no paparazzi. It's just a different vibe. Tell us about your market.
Can you hear me? Yeah. It's definitely a low-key market. People move to Manhattan Beach to be under the radar. And we do have celebrities and professional athletes, but primarily, and most of the buyers, luxury buyers that I work with, they're more of the CEOs, private equity guys, entrepreneurs, and those are the business celebrities, and that is a lot of the typical buyer that I usually work with. It's funny, when I moved to Manhattan Beach 36 years ago, so crazy to believe, and we used to be a sleepy little tiny beach town with maybe a handful of good restaurants, and with little beach cottages and just a great little beachy community. Well, today we are in every guidebook, tourist guidebook around the country, and it's, if you want, you're going to be in Los Angeles, you got to go to Manhattan Beach, and we have a ton of really high-end restaurants that are run by top chefs in the country, and great high-end retail boutiques. And our average median sales price year to date is $3.2 million. So it's pretty crazy how our market has changed. And we do have our luxury buyers. If the property is priced right, we are still seeing bidding wars. We have 3 distinct neighborhoods in Manhattan Beach where the luxury buyers are pretty much drawn to, and that would be the Strand, which is right sitting on overlooking the beach and the water, the ocean. Prices there are like $8 million to one went into escrow. It was actually a Bayside deal last week, and the listing price was $19.9, and it did sit for a little bit, but not too long. And we're seeing buyers from all over the country. That has been a crazy new thing for us, just more so than ever because of the pandemic, when people realized they could work from anywhere. And so we're seeing buyers are coming from all over, because if you are going to work remote, and why wouldn't you want to be at the beach? I mean, it's pretty crazy. So it's been really interesting to see the different buyers. And so the homes are multiple offers. We also have the other 2 areas are the 100 block of a walk street. We have several walk streets, and you still have great views. You're close to 1 block to the beach. And then also the hill section where people go because they want more privacy, and you have much larger lots, and you have backyards, which you don't have in the sand section, so you can have a pool or a sport court, and people are buying their neighbor's property for $4 million and tearing the house down on it and putting in a pool just to control who's next door to them and to control the views so they don't lose their view down the road. And it's crazy. It's really crazy.
It's luxury.
It's luxury, high end, and it's a great market to be in. And it's been just the last year and a half has been just insane.
Do you think it's going to stay insane in the beach community of Manhattan Beach and the surrounding area?
Well, our problem is we don't have the inventory. And
that's everyone's problem.
That's the biggest problem. And so I would say yes if we have more inventory, but as long as people, and people don't want to do renovations. I mean, that in this market we're seeing, they want to turnkey, move in, and be done. And so if we had more inventory, yes, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, hopefully we will get more inventory, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. And Kofi.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. And as you were talking about Manhattan Beach, so my office is in Beverly Hills, about 30-minute drive, an hour if there's traffic because it's LA. But my first luxury listing was in Manhattan Beach. And when we talk about different vibes and different energy and different, levels of luxury and different types of luxury, she's right. It's way more laid back, beach community. First luxury listing for me, I showed up like this. Okay, and I had my brokers open, I had my catering done, I had my sexy flyers, and broker after broker walked in Hawaiian shirts, T-shirts, flip-flops, slides, looking at me like, who the hell are you? I was like, hello to you too. But it was a different vibe, and it was Tony Gonzalez's house. I played football with Tony at Cal. He had a bed on his roof. That was luxury. It was a killer listing. But luxury, I think it can be defined so many ways. Typically with numbers, we look at the top 10% of any given market, right? So when you're talking about LA, it's about at like 1.6, 1.7. now. The average price point has obviously gone up even for a floor, but 1617, you're still looking at 2-bedroom condos, 3-bedroom condos, sometimes, single family homes if you push to the outskirts of LA or if you go into the 110-degree valley, right? So it's really a tale of many markets. I think luxury as a concept is really an elevated and unexpected experience, right? So if we look at, like I talk about this and I do a lot of analogies and metaphors when I'm talking to my team, I think about scorecards. And I told everybody, I had this conversation with my team last week. I said, listen, if you're here, you're at least a B player, right? I don't have C players, I don't have D players, you're a B player. So how do we go to B plus, how do we go to A, how do we go to A plus, how do we go to A plus plus? A plus plus is luxury level experience. A plus plus is I check in at the Waldorf, they take my car, I go to the front desk, they say, hello, Mr. Norte. Because the guy that took my car called in and said, Mr. Norte is coming to the desk. That's unexpected, and it's elevated. And I think we can bring that to any top 10% of any market, and I think as the market continues to grow and we see luxury continue to grow, the things and principles that are luxury will just scale with it, right? I think the price points, top 10% of the market, that's just math, right? But the idea and the concept of luxury is one that really I think all of us can embrace and we can bring to our clients in that elevated, unanticipated, experience.
And where do you see the marketplace going for the markets that you serve in terms of luxury? It's just LA is just so big, and there's so many pockets in LA. And then Global Red is global real estate and development. So we're in 7 different countries with development projects and working with very high-end developers and really at the cutting edge. The advantage of that is I get to sit on Zoom calls now, not at tables anymore. Sit at Zoom calls, and when I do get to travel, I get to sit at tables with people who are trying to innovate in the luxury space. And innovation in the luxury space right now is a lot more sustainable and smart home technology, right? And so that's where a lot of the developments are going, and that's where a lot of the luxury home builders are going as well, both locally and internationally. Like we literally just signed a deal in Malaysia for one of the tallest residential towers in Malaysia, and it's high-end luxury. It's 30 minutes from Singapore, right? So it's a third of the price, but the level of luxury is still the same. The amenities are still the same. The amenity packages in the building is still the same. Even here well, not here, but in LA, it's the same thing, right? Whether it's a luxury condo or a $20 million home, it's the person who's coming into that has lived life at a certain level. They've lived life with a certain type of experience. Even when I had a shot with the Raiders here, and we went to camp, we were in camp, one day, all these luxury cars show up. They give one to Charles Woodson. It was Charles Woodson's first. They give one to Charles Woodson to drive for 2 weeks. The watch guy shows up. He leaves the watches with the players. They leave the cars with the players. It's just access to that type of even experience that people are used to. And so if we can bring elements of that to our business, that C, no C's, get rid of C's, B to A plus to A plus plus, then we are giving our clients a luxury experience as well. You touch on luxury and the definition of luxury in general and across markets. If they retain that level of luxury, that value is different in different marketplaces. What do you see current buyers in the luxury, and I guess ultra luxury is a whole nother level, but let's stick to luxury. What do you see buyers in the luxury level looking for today that they weren't looking for before the pandemic? We'll start with Tiffany.
Well, definitely, it's definitely looking for either fully renovated or brand new construction. They don't want to have to worry about the what ifs of a resale home and, so many things that they're going to have to do and dealing with
But there's no
contractors.
inventory.
Right. Well, that's a challenge, of course, right? So working with developers and things is very important. But I think that the buyers also, it's more about the amenities going on in the home and the access to things, more, property where, of course, they want to have a gym, they want to have an office, maybe 2 offices, they want to have their pool, they want to have just a sport court or wherever. Maybe they live on a lake. I mean, we have a lot of lakes in Central Florida, so lakefront property is one of the most in-demand property you can find, because that's what you do, you go out on the lake. So definitely it's all about amenity to have better life experiences within your home and on your property, because after what we just all experienced, I'm sure condo living was quite rough for a lot of people, so that's definitely the luxuries of amenities in your life is what they're looking for.
Molly, in your area, in Beach Town, in cool, chill, and shorts, Manhattan Beach, what are some of your luxury buyers looking for?
It's actually really the same thing. I mean, they're looking for home offices. They're looking for to be close to the water if possible. That's definitely the higher price point homes. They're looking for the same, like gyms. They're looking for just the high end. Again, not having to do anything. They want to move in and not have to do any work. And I think primarily it's because during the pandemic, it was so hard to get, everybody was doing home improvements. It was so hard to find a contractor. It was so people don't want to go through that. They just want to move in, turnkey, and be done.
Well, Kofi, and let's talk about what your buyers are looking for in the luxury marketplace, and not just in LA. But let's hear about LA, but some of the other areas you touch. It's interesting that you touch so many different areas outside of California.
Sure. So I'm going to attack this a little bit differently because I think they hit the nail on the head in terms of amenities, right? Dialed in properties, just the attention to detail, the level of amenities that the property itself affords them. So even being able to stay at home and do a lot of different things from your own home. But I also think the peripheral markets and the secondary markets are stronger than ever. And I think it provides like a unique opportunity for an event like this. I like to try to, share things I think will be helpful in real time, but get to know all of the people who are here in the peripheral or feeder markets or secondary markets that are close to you. So we're seeing people, and this term came up last year and has really grown, co-primary homes, right? This work from home, I was on a panel discussion for commercial real estate on co-working and work from home and the hybrid models and the equitable experience of Zoom versus the people who come to the office and how do you get promoted if you're not at the office. But this whole idea of work from home is not going to go away anytime soon. Companies are even getting rid of their workplaces so people can work from anywhere, and the people who can afford it often have multiple properties. They have multiple homes. And so my model, even for my firm and sort of our differentiator, is we're pushing to get rid of the agent and become the advisor, right? So they start with us for everything in their real estate portfolios. Why not? We should be that trusted advisor, especially dealing with luxury, which means we're often dealing with the team, a wealth manager, a CPA, an attorney, a real estate advisor, and that should be us. Because we're already building that rapport, establishing that trust, and we can have these different relationships that we built in these ancillary markets where if we don't already know somebody there, we can hand them off to somebody that we vet because we know the right questions to ask. We can fly there and help show the properties. We can be that true advisor that helps them build out their real estate portfolios because a lot of the clients that we're describing have portfolios. They have 3 and 4 homes. They have commercial assets. They have hotels, right? And so why can't we service the full portfolios?
I love that. I just would love to add something to that as well. And so a perfect thing is what we're all doing here today, right? We're connecting with each other. We're networking. One of the most important things as a luxury advisor is to have a powerful network, right? Because you become more valuable to these, luxury clientele that have multiple assets across the state or maybe even internationally, and you could better advise them, better connect them. They, again, have more trust that they put into you because you know the best person in each of these markets, and it's about collaboration. And I've done a lot of collaboration on the properties that I've represented, and it was so impressive to my client. I mean, I've gone as far as to collaborate with a Mandarin speaking agent and a Portuguese speaking agents because I know that we have a very big draw of buyers from China and Brazil in our market. So I had them come and replicate my listing video with my script in their language, and I reach a whole nother market doing that. So again, I think it's all about always connecting with other top professionals and building that network because it's very powerful and you're able to leverage that and use it as a value proposition when trying to get, be able to work with these uber high luxury clientele.
And also on that note, Kofi and I belong to a group called Realm Global, and Realm Global is a invitation-only network of high-end luxury agents across the country and in 10 different countries, actually. And it's been amazing. We have weekly calls every Wednesday, and it gives us the opportunity to present our high-end luxury listings to the other agents in the network. And so we discuss the different properties, and they bring in high-end speakers, and then we also have a website which has all of the properties that are represented by these 425 people, and then we can match our clients and see if there's there's any matches. They match them by lifestyle. And for us at the beach, we're selling the beach lifestyle, and we're doing that every day. We're lifestyle ambassadors selling the beach life. And we also have a office in Palm Desert, and we see a lot of people are going from Manhattan Beach to the desert, and especially during the pandemic, you cannot believe that market's been on fire because when, again, people can work from anywhere. And so our Palm Desert market has just gone through the roof. No, again, we're low inventory right now, but it's really been amazing. It's really something we haven't experienced before.
Speaking of not having these experiences before, let's talk about seller expectations. Aside from the waffling listing price, what are some of the seller expectations that you're having to navigate through and manage now that you haven't before because of the current inventory and where they are getting their demands of list price sometimes be above list price? Tell me some of your seller expectations that you experience now that you weren't before.
Well, I'm sure we all come across this now too, is unfortunately there are sellers that are a bit unrealistic in their price just because things are moving so quickly. Well, there's some of them think they can sell the house themselves, right? Good luck. But others, still think that they're just going to throw out a number. So it's always an interesting conversation to be like, okay, fantastic. So let's discuss how you came to that number, right? And working through it. And, it's funny, I was hearing a story about how, Ryan Serhant was going to list a property, and they were talking about how he came up with a number, and it's like $169 million or something like that. And it was just for fun. He thought it was a cool number. So they made it up because it's such an uber high-end property. There's no comps for that. So it's very different when you're in that super high-end luxury. But, when you're, even 10 million and under, there's comps for that stuff. There's a way to evaluate where you're going to get to your number. So being able to bring the sellers down to where it's realistic and talk facts with them and be able to review information that is factual and have them be more realistic is a very big challenge right now, given what people are seeing. And it's hard you have to really, really, really define your value proposition to them too, which I know and sell yourself. You better be good at selling yourself, right? Because they're gonna want so much more because people sometimes don't value what we do as much, but that's why we're here to kind of elevate and continue to show value.
Yeah, and I think it's about being a professional, right? Knowing your stuff, not being combative, but knowing your stuff and presenting what you know as a professional. We're not going to go in and argue with our doctors like, no, it's not broken. I don't care what the x-ray says. It's not broken. The doctor knows. You have the x-rays done. We've done the assessment. And I also think we have to have literally 5 ways to say every single one thing. So when we come up with pricing, we have to be able to defend the pricing, we have to be able to give the comps, we have to be able to give the buyer rationale, the alternative options that the buyer is going to be considering. All these things come into play. And I often, I think what was a great shift for me, if I can share something that was really helpful in my business, was, kind of going from this and combative to just holding their hands, right? And embracing what I thought was on the other side of the question that they were asking. Well, why can't I get this number? Well, what I thought they were asking was, my home's the best, so it should sell for more than others. So I started just saying that proactively. Well, your home, and you have to believe it, right? Because sometimes, especially in these markets where we have unique properties, the homes are actually better than the other homes. They're better than the last home that sold that was comparable down the street, but this one's a little bit nicer. It's newer, better views, has the roof deck, has the bed on the roof, whatever, right? So I embraced it, and I said, as a matter of fact, actually, your home is better. Your home should sell for more. So what we're going to try to do is capture that value beyond where the market is now. What we don't want to do is go here. Because if they feel like they're beating everybody else, in their hearts and in their minds, that's the win. That's really what they're going for. But we don't want to overshoot the mark, which alienates the buyers, right, and overprices the market by far. And we can support that in 5 different ways, right? So we look at, let's look at what things have sold for. What percentage higher do we think yours should sell for? Yes, it should sell for 2% higher, 3% higher. We can look at the trend lines. Let me show you this graph. The trend lines are going like this. You're asking for this. Let's go here. It's slightly higher than here. Let's go here. We can't go here, though, because what I'm hearing is that you actually do want to move. You actually do want to sell, right? So let's capture all of that value. And that little shift, it doesn't work every time by any stretch, but it's been a game changer for the most part.
What about you, Molly? What have you experienced in your market with navigating?
I'm dealing with it right now. I have very unrealistic sellers, and when we went to list that, I thought their house was worth probably 3.6, 3.7. They were convinced, because they're experts on the market, that it was a 4.1 house. And so we went out, and I knew. And in our market, it's super competitive. We've got all kinds of agents knocking on everybody's door, and everybody knows 20, 30 agents. I knew that I had to go with, well, let's test it. Let's try. You never know. The inventory's low, but this was a unique home, and it wasn't a typical floor plan, and it was better for not young families. It was more set up for empty nesters or a single person or couple. And anyway, we went out, and here we're sitting. We did finally receive an offer, but we're in the midst of countering right now as I speak, and they think they're the experts because they keep reading it in the newspaper that the market's on fire, and why shouldn't my house be selling, and why shouldn't it be at this price? And so it's been really a challenge, but we're getting there. We're making progress. You just really have to hold their hand and listen to them, which is hard because it is very easy to get combative, let me tell you. But no, you have to just be patient, and we're getting through it. But
Just to add on,
I imagine working with I imagine working with CEOs and those like-minded who run companies.
Yeah.
You know, they're not. They have their expectations, and they're maybe not that far off. Or in this market, it's true. Kofi.
I was just going to say, I think you made an important point that is also has been helpful for me, is allow them that space to be human, and also allow yourself that same space to be human. And what I mean by that is, let them vent, right? Don't let them attack you personally. I don't think that flies, but let them vent, because sometimes that's all they really need to do is be heard. And then the same thing for you. We hear, excuse my language, we hear shit every day, BS every day. And so I vent to my wife. I'm like, babe, can you believe what this fool said, right? And then I send a well-composed email. Right? Or I call them back with a very calm demeanor. But we have to allow for that in this business. We have to survive and even to service our clients better.
And that's what it's all about, servicing the clients,
Right.
To continue your growth in your industry. I want to move along because we have a little bit of time left and got some good questions to still get through. For the side partners who are out here in all kinds of different markets right now, what advice do you have for them when they're looking to get into the luxury market? What's your advice for someone who's almost there? They're almost to the million. They're selling the $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, trying to get to the million in your marketplace and other like marketplaces. What's your advice for breaking into the luxury marketplace? We'll go down the line.
Okay, well, definitely everything in my mind starts with your mindset. Okay, you have to believe that you can do it. You have to present that you can do it. You have to fit the part too, right? You can't just say, I'm going to be a luxury realtor, and then you're driving an old beater and you're looking a little raggedy. Like, you got to also play the part at the same time. It's very important. But you have to have it in your mind, and you have to, build a brand that is luxury and is recognizable in that way, and that's really important to kind of really jump in. And one of the ways, just so you guys know, I think this is a cool story, is how I got into luxury in my market. I'm not from Orlando. I'm from South Florida, Miami. That's where my whole connection is, and all the luxury real estate you can dream to sell, right? But I knew, I set my mindset. I was like, I'm going to be a top luxury realtor in Central Florida. That's it. And I would go after expireds. Okay, so the best story I can share is that I saw this house go expired, and it happened to be like a $16.5 million house. Actually, no, at the time it was like listed for $23 million. It was way overpriced. And so I was like, oh, who is this house? And I looked it up, and it happened to be a very big celebrity's house. So I said, man, I don't know how I'm going to get in touch with this celebrity, but I looked at the agent, and I said, the agent happens to be in Miami. He's not even local. Like, maybe I can call him and see if I can provide any value. Like, I'm here, I'm boots on the ground. How can I help? Why did it not sell? Like, what can I be, like, collaboration, right? Connection. Like, I even say, if you're trying to break in and you get an opportunity, like, maybe you should reach out to a top agent in the market and collab on that. Learn from them. Like, imagine having one of the top luxury agents that you can learn from because you want to co-list something instead of trying to do it on your own. Maybe you don't get the listing, or maybe you just, you botch it because you didn't know what to do, right? So collaboration's a big deal, but the story's great. So I ended up calling him and introducing myself and telling him, hey, I'm here. How can I be of service? Is there anything I can do? And he said, well, they're not looking to list it right now, but if they do look to put it back on the market, I'll let you know. And I made sure he followed me on Instagram. So I was like, let's be friends. Follow me on Instagram. I'm at Tiffany Pantozzi. So he started following me. And a year later, when they called him to relist the home, he said, actually, I have the perfect girl for you. And he gave them my number. So I ended up listing it at $16.5 million. It was Shaquille O'Neal's home. And that was an amazing story of how I'm now one of the most respected luxury agents in all of Central Florida because I took a chance. And I take lots of chances. Sometimes you'll fall on your face and sometimes they'll work out. But I took a chance and that's how I, broke in and
You literally broke in.
broke in. Yes. Now, of course, it's like anything. Once you get there, you still have to perform, right? I'm able to perform and get the job. I still had to interview, but it was a cool story of how it happened.
What about you, Molly? You have a long family history in real estate. So for those breaking into luxury real estate, what tips do you have?
Well, I think, as we all know, our business is a relationship business. And for me, I spent 24 years in commercial real estate prior to relaunching our family's company in 2010. And so for me, it's all about working your networks. And I have a huge commercial real estate network in Los Angeles that I was in for years and years, and I keep in touch and I work that network. And believe me, those commercial real estate brokers are really happy when you say, I'll pay you a 25% referral fee. And so a lot of my business has come from that. I also have a big UCLA real estate alumni network group that I work those relationships. And then it's really, really important to make friends with the other agents. And when you're doing a deal, the agents want to work with somebody that they know, they like, and they trust, and they know that they're going to get the deal done. So I think that's really important. I always make a huge effort. Today I went up to the room at lunch and I was on the phone we had to submit an offer in a condo in Palm Springs. And the other agent's assistant who was very involved in the deal, sent an email back, and she had the same name as one of my best friends. So I called her up and I said, this is crazy. You have the same name as one of my very best friends. And it turns out they did know each other. And or she'd never met her, but she knew of her. So just funny things. You need to make the extra effort to make friends with the agent, especially in this competitive market. It's just really hard to get a deal accepted. And you have a better chance if you have a good relationship with the other agent. Also vendors. Vendors are huge. You have to call in a favor. I mean, I have a whole list. I actually have a website called justaskmolly.com, and it has a list of my vendors that I use that I've all vetted and that are people that I trust and like. And my client, it also has calendar of events, what's going on in Manhattan Beach, my favorite restaurants, just a whole. We have a blog that's posted, and it's been really great because my clients who are new to the area, who don't know anything, they'll just go to the website and they'll do that. So I put my vendors that I like and use, and so that's another important thing that I really think. And then finally, this is gonna sound crazy, but I was told this I was right out of college. I was at UCLA, and I was just out of college working in commercial real estate, and that was back in the day when there were very few girls in commercial real estate. And I was sitting in the office one day, and I looked around, and I'm like, where is everyone? This is crazy. And another agent came up to me and said, Molly, if you're gonna make it in this business, you have got to learn how to play golf. And I'm like, really? He's like, you really need to learn to play golf. And I realized if I didn't learn how to play golf, I was gonna be sitting in the office on Friday afternoon. All the guys were out doing deals on the golf course. So I took it to heart, and I cannot tell you how many deals I have done from playing golf. Meeting people through our country club, playing, just being out and playing, and I've gotten a ton of business. And as a matter of fact, right now I have a deal, a $6.3 million deal in Palos Verdes Estates in escrow. And the buyer walked in the door, he was representing himself. He's a real estate investor, and he walked in and he said, I want to move from Manhattan Beach up to Palos Verdes Estates because I belong to Palos Verdes Country Club, and it's right down the street, and I'm there like 3 days a week. And I said, oh, really? That's amazing. I'm a huge golfer. I love to play golf. And we spent the next 30 minutes talking about golf. Next thing you know, he's like, all right, you'll have the offer in the morning. And we're in escrow. So we're closing in 2 weeks.
Play golf. Congrats. Kofi.
Sure. I love advice like that that's transferable. right? Because like having a network isn't transferable. You have to build a network. I'm still breaking into luxury. I'm breaking into luxury every day, right? I remember when I made the decision to do it though, and that was 16 years ago, 17 years ago, I decided I wanted to do it, and I knew that I had to build a brand that would resonate with the clients that I wanted to service. And I also knew that I had to know my stuff, right? So I started, and I was a broker at that point. I was the broker of record for the office that I was with. I kind of knew my stuff. I still was Googling answers to questions as agents were asking me. I was learning quickly. But I knew I had to build a brand that would resonate with the clients that I wanted to service. So I did that, and there was a little bit of fake it till you make it, but the fake it was to get them to call me, because once they called me, I knew my stuff, right? And so I'll tell one funny story. If you had called, I have 2 cell phones. One's over here. I think I gave the other one to somebody else. But if you had called my cell phone, I had created the luxury line, right? And I had my cousin from London do my voicemail. So if you called that, it was like, hello, this is Kofi with the Luxury Real Estate Group. Because I knew that accent was going to do something for me. At least I felt that way. And that phone didn't ring for almost a year. The first time it rang, I dropped it because I'm like, what is that? And again, I like that advice is transferable, because even, one of the first luxury firms that I joined, I did 14 deals my first year, and the guy that got Rookie of the Year did 2 deals, right? He did one for 1.1 million, and he did another one for 74 million, because his dad let him sell the $74 million estate. And how do I compete with that, right? But I think in part, it's building that brand. It's knowing what you're doing, and that brand, I always say the brand is a promise. The brand is a promise of what the experience of working with you is going to be like. And so if you create that elevated, those unanticipated moments, right? We even talk about this in properties. You walk through a properties, what are the moments, right? We use a term called beats per feet. And so if the ceiling drops over there, you're going to have more intimate conversations in that part of the house. As it opens up here, your imagination is going to open up. Your heartbeat should change as you walk through different parts of the property. Can you get your client's heartbeat to change as you engage with them by creating those moments? And that's part of a luxury experience, right? And then I also say just kind of live bigger than your place. And what I mean by that is if you get a $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 listing, that's amazing. Treat it like a $5 million listing. Treat it like a $5 million listing. Get extra nice photos, do a property video. Those assets live forever. That Tony Gonzalez house with the roof, the bed on the roof, I had that on my website for 10 years. Yeah. Nobody knows. 10 years I had it on my website. I sold a house once in Poway, in San Diego, for LaDainian Tomlinson. We were in escrow. It had been on the market for 3 years. We got in escrow in 2 weeks. Hadn't even had time to do the video, but it was a 10,000 square foot house with a pool, with a grotto, and a cave and all this. I said, can we still do the video, please? And if you go to my YouTube page, I have 77,000 views on that video. And that's been, it's leaning into those moments where you can help build your brand while servicing your client simultaneously. I could talk about this forever, but I know we're running out of time.
No, you're absolutely leveraging those listings for your benefit as well, for your business, for your brand, to build your portfolio. That's very important because it's going to show proof of success as well for the future opportunity to get other deals. So absolutely, I agree with that.
Well, we got to wrap it up. We're getting near our timeline. It's to see it clicking away. But there were a lot of actual secrets revealed. Thank you all for participating with that. And for those who are trying to break into or want more advice, I'm sure you're accessible. You have your own website, says Ask Molly, so we'll all go there. Real quickly to line it up, your elevator pitch for branding. You all have your own brands. Your side, but you all have your own brands, and that's the whole point of side, right? Tell me, and you all play luxury, so tell me your elevator pitch for your brand. You got 30 seconds.
Align Real Estate, fierce, fresh, forward thinking.
Wow.
The whole team is here. So yeah, it's all about elevating the industry, and I actually I cringed at the idea of being a realtor. I never really wanted to be one, and it really did. And then I sold my company, and I was like, what's going to be next? So to make it quick, I was like, I'm getting into this industry, and I'm just going to do it better. I'm going to give more, do more, and just elevate everything about it. So, and that's what we're trying to do here with the Align Real Estate.
Wow, that's great. So I am a fourth generation president and CEO of the Hogan company, which was founded by my great grandfather in 1925. And so we're a 96-year-old company, and for me, it was really important in joining Side that we were able to maintain the integrity of our 96-year-old family brand. So basically, we have an office in Manhattan Beach and Palm Desert, and we have been doing this a long time.
Kofi.
So, yeah, I'll try to make it quick. I think, when I created the firm, I wanted to create a different model, something that pulled from private client services at the bank, something that pulled from wealth managers, wealth advisors that dealt with portfolios. So even as I describe global real estate and development, I call it a private real estate firm. And that communicates something. It's not that people don't have access to it, but it communicates something when I say that to people and the type of clients that we want to attract. And in terms of a tagline, it's a desirably different real estate experience.
Well, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. We're going to be around if you want to talk some more luxury real estate. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for coming inside. REunite.
Bye.